Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Orange Card, Blue Card. It's kind of a little special one. We don't have any cameras showing here, but I, of course, am Sam Tate. I'm joined by David Toombs of Let's Talk Universes, and we got a lot of webcam events coming up, kind of surrounding the Nationals prep stage. So you guys are going to be seeing those advertisements kind of flashing over the screen. I thought that was like a cool way to advertise what's going on because, David, you've got a Webcam Circuit Championship, a 3K Invitational, maybe the first ever in Universe's history, coming up this weekend, streamed on Tamron Cardwell's Twitch channel.
That's right. The best 16 webcam players are battling it out for $3,000. First place walks away with $750. That's enough money to go and buy a case of Critical Role and some solo leveling, maybe even some lower decks to boot after those two. So some serious prizing. I imagine most everybody's just going to put their money towards more cards because that's what we do. But nobody's bringing their casual deck. Hey, let's just have a good time. This is enough money where all 16 of the best players are bringing serious decks, trying to take first place. And it's going to be really interesting with Nationals next month to see what the best 16 webcam players bring to the event. And one of those 16 best webcam players is you.
Yeah, I phoned it in. I played Bert 2 basically on release day, and we managed to pull out second place. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. The goal in that event for me was just to win 5 rounds. I was like, if I Swiss champ or if I win 4 rounds, and I was lucky, I think Gavin Kale and was it Dan Buchanan? I'm terrible at names. I'm so sorry. But I know there was a couple players that were like right at the top of the list who weren't in that tournament. So I felt pretty confident just getting my points in, but we managed to auto qualify. So I'll take that.
Yeah, you were in no matter what. And so, yeah, this is going to be just a really interesting event because you get to see, the decks everybody thinks are the most competitive. So everybody, most players are worried about Bertolt too, but are the best players going to be playing Bert?
And, there's always that webcam asterisk of these certain decks don't play well on webcam because, as we'll get to in a minute, one of the things that you ask in this little interview that you've got going, which I love, by the way, I absolutely love the player interviews. I think it's such a cool idea. It's something that I think we definitely need more of in the community, and it's just always scheduling is such a huge hassle. Is the only reason I think it doesn't happen more. But I do think that there's a few more decks that are probably going to be more playable in person. Everyone is afraid of Recovery Girl, but I am not expecting a Recovery Girl this weekend. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it by putting that out into the ether. But this is probably a perfect snapshot of what the Nationals metagame is going to look like.
Yeah, and speaking of the interviews, I've got 5 questions that I've been asking everybody. It's really 6, but 5 sounds better. I've got them memorized at this point, but I'll run through them real quick. And the first one is, how did you get into Universes? And I know for you, this probably take the next hour talking about this one, but give us the 60-second version of how you joined this card game.
Yeah, so it's actually a very, very simple story. I walked into a game store to buy some board games to start hosting board game nights when I first moved out on my own, had my own place, no roommates. Well, I had a roommate half the time anyways. And I wanted to start hosting events. I started wanting to have my friends gather. And while I was in the game shop, I saw a Terry Bogard character card, and it was off by itself. It was with, I think, a Mai Shiranui, a couple other Universes character cards. And it had a $5 price tag. I asked the guy if I could buy it, just because I was so shocked that a King of Fighters trading card was even, in the same place as all these board games and other card games. And when I bought it, the guy behind the counter asked me if I wanted to learn how to play the game. And I was gobsmacked that people actually play a King of Fighters trading card game. And then he explained to me that the company is actually based in Las Vegas. People show up once a week and play at the time Universal Fighting System. So it's really as simple as I saw maybe my favorite video game character of all time on a trading card and found out people play the game.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty similar to my brother and I. I mean, we walked into a store, saw My Hero box, and thought, "Hey, I like My Hero."
Yeah, it's I hate that that's my origin story, by the way, because of how much I love the game outside of IPs and how much I'm not the guy to get roped in by an IP to like play a game. But that's what happened. I went, hey, I want to buy this, and found out people actually play it. So
All right. So since that time to now, what's your favorite? Who's been your favorite Universes character to play? And then your favorite Universes attack. You can go retro or standard, but if you say retro, I won't know what the heck you're talking about.
well, I'm gonna first answer Templar, which is not an answer to your question, but I'm gonna say Templar and make you ask me again.
All right. Templar's the action, right?
Yeah, Templar is a Red Horizon action card.
All right. What's your favorite character and your favorite attack?
So
oh wait, Templar's
my favorite
Rejuve
character
Smash
is Terry Bogard 1. It's the character card that was in the case at Gamers Paradise. It's the card that Ryan Emerson sold me. And it's a character that I basically never played back then because everyone kind of told me that the character wasn't so good. A lot of the really powerful or like necessary components that people believed, were like staples for the deck were out of print, or they were like character promos that we were pretty lucky in Las Vegas. Getting any kind of promo wasn't super difficult as long as it wasn't old. But at the time, TTS wasn't much of a thing. So card availability stopped me from playing that character until retro became a thing. And in the standard environment, Terry didn't have amazing blocking tools to continue to build and block in like this infinite cycle of drawing cards and building the same block over and over. But by the time power creep happened in 2020, Terry got an insane arsenal of tools, and I managed to win a retro series event with him and went very, very far in the Fake Conquest format, having everyone ban my Terry deck and not letting me ever play it. So that was one of the moments where I was really wondering how much I want to stick with Universes, because it was in a really rough spot with, quarantine and things like that, and how much I wanted to kind of invest into like online gaming in general. Cause I was playing on like a 1 gigabyte MacBook or something. Like it was rough, man. It overheated because I opened Street Fighter by accident. That's how bad my computer was at the time. But for a character, it's got to be that same Terry Bogard 1.
All right. What did Terry do?
So Terry has a very interesting enhance. He discards a card from the rival's card pool for cost, and then he gets a damage bonus equal to the control value of the card. So the way it normally reads is every time you block my attack, the subsequent attack is going to get a big damage bonus. And it gets worse if you block with non-attack cards, right? So if you block with an attack, the damage bonus is between 1 and 3. And if you block with, 5 checks and 6 checks, it gets big damage pumps. And that was kind of a very difficult mini game. And so there's a lot of self-clogging cards in his kit. And a lot of them, or not a lot of them, but, most of them were like insular to those symbols. It was like a very specific gimmick for all the Team Fatal Fury characters. It was very thematic, and I could definitely drone on for hours about how it fits like Terry's playstyle in King of Fighters. But it was such a natural extension of like footsies in this game to wonder, okay, if I block this attack, yes, I don't take damage now, but is the next one being +5 damage a big deal? and managing whether or not you want to reduce the progressive difficulty of blocks was a big skill check and kind of difficult to overcome as a new player. So his offense is kind of interesting because of that. And then his responsibility, his other ability is to commit one foundation. After you block with an asset or foundation, you build that card committed and then you draw a card. And by all of today's standards, it's very clear how broken that is. But back then, block modifiers were a lot of times +3s on those cards. The +1, a lot of the +1s I can remember weren't necessarily useful in your stage, and the commit one cost was pretty real for the most part. You had good stun hate on his symbols, but there was only so much you could be blocking while committing things. And I do remember a lot of the better speed hate for his symbols required you to destroy the foundation. So you had like really solid defense, but it was costly. And you had really solid offense depending on the type of decks you were fighting. So he's a very, very interesting character and one that is incredibly broken based on the card pool available or incredibly weak based on the card pool.
Yeah, this guy seems kind of really good just for the response.
Yeah. So
build in your foundation, your asset.
Yeah, when I won the retro series, it was definitely by just abusing an asset. There's a +1 block modifier that says you only take 1 damage when you block, and then you build it, and you can block with it from your stage. Yeah, so you were literally just playing the same card from your stage, and every time you're drawing a card, and it's never staying in your card pool. So that interaction is what got Terry banned. They didn't ban the card that did that for some reason, just Terry.
That's because the new card must have been newer.
Yeah, the new card was considered a necessary piece of throw hate, I guess. I don't know. It's busted in every other character that plays it too, though. So I don't know. It's pretty weird, but yeah, it was the card Omega Sword and Elk Shield. It's like a 6-check +1 mid block, and it was a huge part of Cassandra's success in 2020 Standard. So that card was always really good, and it also like stuns the opponent on their turn. It's like actually good in the stage when it's ready too. So
after you block an attack, that attack deals 1 damage.
It's
flip
pretty
1 foundation. Both players commit 1 face-up foundation. Yeah, this seems kind of cracked for a 1.
Yeah, so there was like crazy stun hate.
But what was your?
Because you also have to read Sense of Morals. Like committing a card, committing your rival's card might actually get you killed because of their ability to like ready it over and over before Sense of Morals got errata. So there's a lot going on. Like retro universes, there's a whole lot going on. But the main thing is I love blocking and I love ramp. And I kind of hate that I love ramp because ramp is kind of like ubiquitous in all games where you just try to go bigger and faster than your opponent. But it's true. I like to play big stuff. I was really excited for the high difficulty attacks in Attack on Titan. I was really excited to play Shishi Wakamaru. Shishi Wakamaru is like this character I'm just waiting to like crack the puzzle on. And I, finding like the right balance of speed hate and just leaning on that really powerful interaction to, because with that version of the deck it wasn't really ramping so much because you're building the same asset over and over. But I've always loved Manly Passionate Guy because you get to like trick your opponent. It's like before Outwit, it was like the closest thing we had to a trap card. It was like I also used to love this with Athena, where you would build a foundation from your hand face up during the rival's turn, and you could use an ability that they didn't know about, right? Like they would usually get, with Athena's case too, they don't even get to enhance again. I think she gets to build a foundation and then immediately play another enhance. So you can like trick your opponent with a hand trap that wasn't an action card with both Terry and Athena and stuff like that. So I always thought stuff like that was really cool. When it comes to like old universes, old UFS, also a great way to multi-symbol a card. If you want to play an off-symbol card and you can't chain it while you're attacking and building
All
on your
right.
turn. If you
All
block,
right. The old man is going on too long.
see this one, you picked the wrong
He's going
one.
into multi-symbol chaining.
That's just the truth. That's how it is.
Yeah.
But
All right,
that's why Terry always appealed to me, because I always thought that decks should be more flexible with the way that they off-symboled cards back then. And it was never like the norm, but it was always so appealing and so much fun.
You're a fan of interaction and decisions being, the dance between blocking and discarding for damage. So what is your favorite, with that baseline established, what's your favorite attack in Universes?
Ooh, that one is honestly so much harder. Character is so easy for me because I'm lucky that my favorite character in video games is also just like a sick character in UFS. I have to say this is gonna be so bad, because it's not a card I ever played, but I'm gonna say Ultra Clarkbuster.
Ultra Clarkbuster.
Yeah.
Let's see this. Throw 3 mid 5 2 check. Commit a foundation. The damage of this attack cannot be reduced by effects. Okay, so this is the ultimate combo. The Elder Toguro card. Clark E, discard a momentum. If this attack deals 6 or more damage, your opponent loses 1 vitality for each of their committed foundations. So it's like a throw that could deal like 20 damage.
Also, relevant back then, it's a +0 low block, which the fire symbol, I think, had like no good low blocks. And like, imagine running a 2 check just for a +0 low block. It's a crazy world we lived in. So I like Ultra Clarkbuster because it's such a beautiful puzzle, and it's an attack that isn't useless if you're not pressing every button on it. For throws, having the ability to fight against damage reduction was really, really cool. And this character synergized with commit costs. So Clark has his own, like, he commits your foundations kind of a gimmick, but he also commits his own foundations. And he had a lot of the, after this is committed by an effect, do a thing, or committed to pay a cost, do a thing. So he's got like a 3 diff that's just when you commit it to pay a cost, it gets 3 damage. And that, clearly combos to get you to the damage number you need to get to. Clark himself has commit a foundation. The attack gets +1 damage for each card in your hand. And as a 5-hander, that's like a cool puzzle kind of put together and solve. And then on top of that, this is the only time I have ever been a fan of a card where you lose vitality based on a damage trigger. And it's because it feels like it should be a finality to, pulling off your strategy. If you execute the strategy, you get the payoff. And also because it's a throw, it kind of feels fine, like it feels like normal. Like throws are kind of like burning you even though you blocked anyways, if you want to feel that way. Like it's uninteractable in the same way that burn is in Magic and other games. Burn is usually like the least interactable damage, right? And so it being on a throw doesn't feel as bad. But I always like this one. It's obviously very similar to 1.3 million volts, which is a card that I also leaned on heavily throughout the first couple years of My Heroes competitive scene. So the main thing though is I could never get a copy of this card. No one would trade me any Ultra Clarkbusters. One of the first trades I ever made was to trade a Hyper Bomb, which was a $10 rare, for 2 copies of Clark's Sunglasses, which was a $2 ultra rare, and I got completely fucking scammed. Still don't like that dude. I think he even like split. I shouldn't get into it. I could get in trouble, but got fucking scammed, and I never was able to trade for the Ultra Clark Busters because that same guy was the only person in Vegas who had them. So I never got to play the Clark deck, not a single time.
But in theory, that's your favorite.
In theory, so that's the thing is I played against it, and it was fun to play against the minigame. It was interesting to look at Clark. So Clark commits your foundations when you attack him, when you hit him. And so he's playing a lot of damage reduction himself. And so his finishing move having protection against damage reduction is like unfair in a way that a grappler, a five-hander, from a fighting game should feel. And there's, sort of like an obvious pattern of play that you have to kind of stick to. And when you get to step out of that pattern is when you start to feel good, right? Like when you can start to ignore Recovery Girl building foundations when you hit her is like, that's when you're like, I'm winning. That's when you overcome that obstacle. And so I always thought that was cool. It was fun to build the decks on UFS Ultra, which is such a weird compliment to give a game designer. And then on top of that, I always wanted to play it. So, I think it's a design that should or could come back. If you want the answer for the card that I actually did play and probably enjoyed the most, it's actually probably Hellfire Impalement. But if I say that, I'll get booed out of the fucking building.
Yeah, screw that card. I have no idea what it does. Oh, no. I played against this in retro. I played against this.
Even MHA players know what Hellfire Impalement does.
I played against an Inferno using this. Let's see. Discard the top. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mill a bunch of bad checks, draw a bunch of cards, remove the bad checks, ready cards. I could do a whole hour-long dissertation on all the ways you can use Hellfire Impalement that you wouldn't expect, but I'll save it for later. But that card creates like a lot of really stupid gameplay patterns that are not fun or interesting. Huh?
That's what I think is fun about playing retro, which I want to do Nationals and Worlds is going to have retro events that I plan to play in, and then I plan to do a couple retro webcam circuit events next year. Is that a lot of retro cards, at least my experience is a lot of them are like wonky, like they're doing like specific things that you have to build your deck around for it to be good. It's not just draw a card, add 3 damage. Like, I mean, you still have your fair amount of those, but it feels like there's a little more interaction in a lot of these retro cards than what we see today. Maybe it's just because I'm looking at these specific ones, but these ones are like, very interesting setup mini games, like what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I'll say the cool thing about retro and how I felt about UFS for a long time, and something that maybe in the post MHA era we're lacking a little bit in, is there's cards that have a really obvious function or use, but they end up working in really weird ways. Like they have really weird interactions and implications that are not like necessarily intended. And not like in like a, it's broken and like the rules don't make sense way, because we've had plenty of those, but just like in a, destroying this foundation instead of removing it matters, like having the top card of my discard pile change because I utilized, cost on inability changes the way the game is being played, and like little stuff like that is the bread and butter.
And that's fun for, those kind of things are fun for somebody deck building to discover, to feel like they discover. And then in playing a match where you realize like you big brain a move like that,
Right. So
like,
that's the thing is like, when I put a card in my deck in old school UFS, and maybe this is just because I wasn't good at the game or whatever, like the card pool is bigger, but I would put it in my deck for a specific purpose or reason. And then while playing the game, an unforeseen circumstance would cause me to use a card in a different way. And I don't know if I got better at the game and I just see all the different implications now, or if that part of the game doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like
I never
the,
played
the
retro,
best
so this will be.
example
I
I
mean,
can come up with right now is like doing some weird shit that fucks with Rodan's discard pile, you know? And like if people could be reliably doing that, they would be. So like, you know, I don't know.
I was doing that with Deception Dagger. Yeah, if I remove the top, now he only gets access to a +1
Oh, I'm gonna enhance with Knott's Flask.
block modifier.
Bump. Okay, yeah, we'll put a 4 on top.
All right.
Oh,
I'll discard. That is true.
I'll discard a hacker
All
extraordinaire with a hacker extraordinaire for cost. That, you know, but that's Rodan getting to do that. So like Rodan gets to do, excuse me, cool stuff like that. But you know, I don't know. It felt like every matchup I was gonna use my cards in a different way that I never thought I would before.
Yeah. All right. What is your hottest universes take that everybody listening will think that you're wrong?
Think that I'm wrong. So the one that's been rattling around in my brain recently is Garrett Brett is the Michael Jordan of universes, and Kevin Broberg is the LeBron James.
I can't tell who you're complimenting and who you're dissing.
I think the point is it's not meant to be. Or actually, I guess now that I think about it, then this is hopefully going over so many people's heads because I don't think there's a lot of sports fans. I guess it's more Garrett Brett is like the Bill Russell, and then Tim Keefe would probably be the Michael Jordan, and then Kevin Broberg is the LeBron James. That's probably more accurate. And then to round out the Mount Rushmore, we'll say Jeremy Ray is Shaquille O'Neal. Absolutely dominant in his prime, you know, unstoppable, but always needed like that one extra piece, and maybe doesn't have like the most accolades, but was like so impactful during his time. Shorter career, right?
Yeah, now Shaq is a great TV personality, and Jeremy works for UVS.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? Like he's got a personality. He's a different part of the game now. You know, whereas Tim Keefe had an absolutely dominant era. He had back-to-backs, you know, just like Michael Jordan did. Tim Keefe can like set a goal for himself and go out and accomplish it, just like Jordan setting out to be the defensive player of the year. He's like, that's the only thing left I have to do. Garrett Brett just has the numbers, right? He's got the most rings, so he's the Bill Russell. And then Kevin Broberg is the guy who has turned what being a GOAT is. You know, in my opinion, LeBron has turned being the GOAT of basketball into a longevity competition. You know, he has been dominant in, you know, the most decades type of a thing. And I think Kevin Broberg fits that description of, you know, being dominant 15 years ago and still dominating today.
All right, let's keep it to basketball. I got two of them for you. Who's the Steph Curry transforms the game into a different, you know, to something else? Now everybody's shooting threes and they're working on stats. Right. And then who's the Russell Westbrook? They'll never win a real ring, but they just get stats.
See, I guess for Russell Westbrook, I think of James Harden in that spot. Are they interchangeable?
Yeah, both of them.
Okay, yeah, because Harden's the guy
or Kevin Durant, you know, that he has to go to Golden State to win a real ring.
Yeah. So yeah, Harden's the guy who like transforms the game in a negative way. So I guess for the Steph, I don't know if we've really had one. I think maybe the closest is maybe there, you know, you could maybe give credit to the Master Asia list, which I think is maybe before your time. There was a guy who played Asawi 1 in like a really weird way where he like wasn't clearing his card pool all the time, and he had like some next level math where he was just going even more aggressive than everyone else. He was like super undefeated day one, and like, you know, or like he dropped like one final round or something. Absolutely smoked me. He like didn't want anyone to use his real name because he was like, he like lied to his wife to be there, and then day 2 he couldn't come back to Top Cuts because it was like her birthday or something. Like there's like a whole story to it.
So nobody knows his real name?
I'm sure someone does, but like he doesn't want me to use it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is, and he doesn't want people to use it. He wanted to go by Master Asia. I don't even know if they had his name in the tournament software. I think it just showed up with like MSTR AZN or something. Like, so I don't know. That's pretty
But
close.
what was transformative? Was that like everybody realized Asui's power?
It's when people realize that you don't have to play the game as Asui. And then shortly after that, Travis Tangeman, who was playing like a really defensive Asui during that event, played a similar list, modified, iterated on list, that the Master Asia guy played, which was like life aggro, balls to the wall. And like Travis got second at that tournament. It was Orlando. And then he played Asui after that. And he like went super undefeated throughout a whole tournament. He didn't ID in the final round of Swiss because he wanted to win every round and prove a point. And he did. He won every single round at that tournament playing a life Asui list. And so maybe like that's the spark. You could also maybe give it to Travis for like the Elder Toguro type stuff, coming out of nowhere with something like that. But I don't know if anyone's really like changed the way we play the game. It's hard to say. Because most of that comes from like, designers mechanically, right?
Yeah, it's hard for a player to make that impact.
Yeah, you could say maybe highlighting like because Steph's also like a smaller dude, right? So he's like giving life to a new type of player. He broke the mold, he's not LeBron like 7 foot tall or whatever. So yeah, I think maybe you could give it to like the Elder Toguro list from Travis.
Yeah, he's always coming up with wacky deck ideas that end up actually working.
Yeah, he's certainly trying, right? He's certainly trying more than a lot of people. And then as far as someone who's really good but can't quite get there, I mean, I hate to put my boy out there, but that kind of sounds like Tam so far. I'll say so far. Because Tam's obviously won a bunch of events. He's won like 4 events now, right? Maybe more.
Yeah, he won the webcam event this year, and then he won a provisional with Momo.
He won a 1K in the year 1. He's won 2 provisionals on webcam. So he's got, but as far as like winning the big one, right? Like winning the championship, it hasn't happened. But he's good enough to be in the conversation, right? Like that's the criteria.
Yeah.
Like a notable player. See, I don't know, because like my only caveat with this is we said not good enough to win one, and I feel like anybody on any given day can like put it together in this game, especially with current game balance. Anyone can come out of nowhere and surprise you. So I don't know if I actually really want to answer that one, just because I would not say that Tam's not good enough to win a world championship. And I don't know if I'd want to put anyone.
Yeah, for the Russell Westbrook criteria, it has to be someone just after stats.
Yeah, someone.
And then
someone just after stats. We'll see, that fits the YouTuber, right? That fits the social media element. Trying to get that thumbnail.
Yeah, maybe I'm Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that.
I didn't win the event, but I topped, and then I made a video about my deck.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And I want to act like top 16ing is equal to winning.
Yeah, I'll put everyone who's happy to just make top 16 in that slot. If you're not like bummed because you got like 2-0'd in top 16, you're just happy that you topped, like I'll put you in that slot.
All right, I could dig that.
I'll put every single player who's just happy to top.
And then question 4 was, or was that question 4? All right, maybe I don't have it memorized.
Question 4 is, what's an IP UVS should add?
Yeah, that one. Okay, give us the best one.
The operative word there is should, right? Because if we want the game to be successful, you're not asking me which one I like. which one I want.
Which one is that? It's not.
If I could pick one right now, bro, it's probably a weird choice, but it's free written, Beyond Journey's End.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly. It's I think it's popular. I don't really have like anime circle friends, and it's the first anime I've like binged or like I've maybe not binged, but I watched like an episode like every day for like a month, and I have stopped just short of like the last 2 episodes because they announced a season 2, and I do not want to finish season 1 without more to watch. It's like so heavily D&D inspired, like it's high fantasy. It's got magic and spells and warriors and dragons, and it's so clever. It's so smart. It leans a little heavy on subverting expectations, but it does it in incredible ways. The art is some of the better art. I don't think the animation is like super high quality, but for like anime, the bar is so low.
This is recent. This is September 2023 to March 2024.
Yeah, this is like very new. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not normal for me to latch on to an anime. And so I've loved every second, every episode of Free Written. They fucking don't miss with that show. Like every joke lands.
I'm watching this. After I finish Fruits Basket, I'm watching this one.
So I don't know. I don't know how much people will like it if they're not like deeply entrenched in like fantasy wargaming role playing stuff, because it does have like deep tropes, with it. But I think it's probably good enough to stand on its own. If I like it that much, it's probably good enough for, other people's enjoyment.
All right, I'm seriously watching this. Actually looks really good.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's again, my perception is clearly from like loving the inside jokes, because like you can tell the writers, like the creators, you can tell like they love D&D, fantasy RPGs. They've thought about it. You know what I mean? Like they're not just like creating a product. Like they have cultivated such a cool story, and it's so unlike every other fantasy story. Maybe not so unlike, but it's just, I don't know. It's so good. I can't gush about it enough. The only downside, and my friend Brandon Jones, former national teams champion, pointed this out to me though. The reason why Freerun would not be good, and why a lot of anime and manga would not be good for this game, is one reason. Can you guess what that reason is, David? Attack on Titan is technically guilty of this too.
Okay. Would not be good for the game?
Yeah, there's one criteria that a surprising amount of anime doesn't qualify for, especially
action. Oh, are you saying there's no like waifu character?
No, it's not that, because A, there definitely is, and it just depends on who you are. B, the main issue with Freerun is they don't shout the name of their attacks.
Oh, okay. No Kamehameha.
Yeah, like Attack on Titan's biggest issue is nobody says the name of their attacks. So we have all the most like generic naming for stuff, like our secret rare is Whirling Slash.
We have so many attacks named Shot in this latest.
Yeah, Shot, Stab,
but it's like Steady Shot, Sasha's Steady Shot, Short Range Shot, Explosive Shot. It's like, right. I can't remember these anymore.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the one thing, but we've got the spell keyword. Oh, my least favorite, speaking of spell keyword, Duplicitous Recollection and Duplicitous Attack, like, throw me off so bad. Like, how did we get the word duplicitous from 2 completely unrelated properties? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how did that
happen? Here it is. In Attack on Titan 2, how many attacks have the word shot in its title?
Yeah. So
guess.
So there's probably not a ton of material to work with outside of like challenger decks too. Like it would probably have to be like kind of like the lower decks where each of the characters get like their own deck, and then they all have like a tutor or like a mentor character that could be like the second character in it, like the lower decks. I don't know if you could crank out, or like it could be a small set because there are a lot of really notable characters in Free Ren. And there's so much opportunity for like transforming cards. I don't want to spoil anything, but like there's so much good stuff, and I would love to see more spell keyword, more fantasy. Critical Role really opened up a door that I didn't think we would ever get in universes, and so I'd love to see more fantasy stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, the answer was 9, though. 9 attacks with the word shot in it. And all of standard before then.
That's crazy.
Including set 1 of MHA, there was 10 attacks with shot. We have doubled the number of shots
too.
Yeah, we got reflexive shot, sausage steady shot, aimed shot, anti-personnel shot, scavenged rifle shot, short range shot, readied shot, improvised anchor shot, signal shot. There you go. There's the 9. Okay, so okay, let's take away the word. Let's add in the word should now. In order to grow, what IP does Universes need to get? Or is like Godzilla, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and these like, old classics?
Brother, up until
I don't know, what's your pick?
Up until an hour ago, that answer was League of Legends. But they just announced the League of Legends card game, so that's off the table. It's so tough because Universes Beyond feels like double dipping with stuff now. I think so. This is a cop-out answer, but what I would do is I would be looking for upcoming anime that hasn't come out yet. And I would want to come out around the same time. And I would want to try to link product together, right? Like with the release. Kind of like how I think they're doing it with Critical Role, where I think it's like part of like their anniversary or something. It's like the same month as like a anniversary number. So I think I would try to just like be on the forefront of like what's the next hot thing. Like look for a manga that is getting an adaptation, has like maybe like previews for the anime coming out, and I would just try to actually be like the next big thing. And I would have no idea what that would be for anime.
Just take random shots at like new animes coming out.
Yeah, I don't think that like the marketplace for old anime is like really there, like One Piece is like it's not there for us. Like obviously One Piece is doing really good and it's old, Dragon Ball is doing good, like these pillars. But like anything else like that would already be owned by Bandai and there'd be no reason to suggest it. Like Naruto could be huge with boomers, like millennials who are turning 40 love Naruto still, but there's no reason to assume we could get that when they could just relaunch their own game. And like I don't think that like none of the anime that has like a nostalgia reboot like Boruto or Dragon Ball Super, like I don't think any of those really fit. I think we missed out on Demon Slayer. I think we could have been the Demon Slayer or the Jujutsu Kaisen card game when those are like real hot. And I think the time it takes to like put those deals together cause it to cool off. I think that's what happened with My Hero as well, but you can blame 2020 all you want for it, but I feel like we drummed up the hype for My Hero when it was relevant and like peaking, and then it took too long to really cash in. So I would try to be like season 1, this new action anime from a well-known action studio. Again, I'm not the biggest anime fan, but that seems to be where we're going. I would try to be there, to be first. So like no matter if it's like a good IP or not, I think there's more value right now in being first and being like able to promote it while it's getting big before people have kind of settled on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, if they added Demon Slayer now, the first set wouldn't come out till 2027. Who knows if Demon Slayer is still like I feel like it's already cooled off a little bit and it's hype.
Yeah, like we got Mortal Kombat X, and the cards didn't come out until the next Mortal Kombat was announced. You know, like it
Yeah.
didn't really help us too much. Street Fighter, we got Street Fighter 4 art after Street Fighter 5 was out. So like aesthetically the games don't match up. So like it takes so long to get all this stuff put together. I would try to like work with a studio and be like, I don't know, part of their advertising production. I'm also waiting for another anime that like is a card game anime to come out, you know? It's like super 90s, early 2000s, but like there was a handful of them, and it's time for the nostalgia reboot. People are nostalgic for Yu-Gi-Oh! They don't want new Yu-Gi-Oh! They want something that is iterative of old Yu-Gi-Oh! They want a card game anime where people are sent to hell. Let us be that card game for you.
Oh, you're saying another anime where they actually play the card game in the anime.
I mean, that would be ideal. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think the market is ripe for it. I do think that like nostalgia is a big hit right now, which is why I was going to ask, is there like a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out?
I honestly have no idea.
Because
give us like an adult Pokemon or something.
Yeah, like people went kind of crazy for Pow World or whatever, where it's like it's Pokemon but with guns, you know. Like obviously we want like a better put together product, but you know, I think something like that could be. I think something like that could be successful. It would probably still have to be marketed towards kids and like kid friendly. But I promise you, dude, like Yu-Gi-Oh fans in their 30s would just lose it if there was like an over-the-top action anime that focused on playing cards and didn't take it like super seriously and wasn't like shoving the product down your throat every second, but was just like, you know, here's cool, flashy shonen anime with a card game aesthetic.
I could see that.
My
All right, let's do.
My favorite season of Digimon is one that's directed by one of the directors of one of my favorite animes from when I was a kid, and it's the season where they play the Digimon trading card game.
I did love the Yu-Gi-Oh anime growing up.
Yeah, like so many people love like the original Yu-Gi-Oh idea too, which I don't know if you know, like the season 0 Yu-Gi-Oh where it's like all dark and there's knives and people bleed and stuff, and they had to clean it up to like sell to kids. But you know, if we just got something that like could meet us in the middle, you know.
Yeah, keep a little bit of the nostalgia feel, but also be a little bit more for a crowd in their 30s than at 10 years old.
Like new Yu-Gi-Oh, the kids get younger. And Yu-Gi-Oh at its peak was the one time the kids got older. Like some of the best Yu-Gi-Oh storytelling is like the one season where they had adults as the characters. And like ever since then it's like they're like elementary school kids now. Like it's crazy. And they like go to dual school and shit. And it's like, no, dude, give me the anime where the guy gets kicked out of his parents' house because he's broke and he can't get a job, and you know, on his way to get a job he, you know, runs afoul of some card game players or something, you know, and he ends up beating like the greatest card game player ever, and he gets a super rare card, and he has to like decide, does he sell it for rent or does he, you know, invest in himself and become the world champion now that he has the world's rarest card or some shit.
It sounds like you need the Divorced Dads anime
card game. Some shit like that, exactly. Maybe not exactly Divorced Dads, but yeah, something like deconstructions and like the isekais are super popular, right? Like, give me like the isekai card game where the kid gets sucked into the world of the card game he plays, and like maybe they never actually play cards. The kid references them. You know, he's like, oh, shoot, we're getting attacked by these water creatures. So, you know, we'll go seek out this artifact that in the game counters them. And maybe it'll help us, you know, like get creative with it.
All right, let's go sad now. If you were to quit playing Universus, it would be because of blank.
I guess the truest answer is because of a Cowboy Bebop level power creep. Um, I did stop playing Universes at one point, but it was temporary, so I can't really say anything that would ever make me stop playing forever. Because obviously I came back. The easy answer is because I'm dead. Um, you know,
Well,
I
if
could get banned
Universes
for life.
survives all the way, yeah, if Universes survives your entire lifespan, I think that's a good card game.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, there's so many obvious answers, right? Like it stops being a card game. But even then, we'll play Pippa's fan set. Uh,
Yeah. George just made one for the MHA Final War arc.
which is, I still was believing that they're gonna make another MHA set, like at least one more. But I don't know. I've been told I'm probably wrong on that, which is wild to me.
Yeah, like we're getting like some of people's favorite arcs, and it felt like the anime kind of came back. Like some of the hype came back,
Yeah, it
and
like
now
just
we're
ended or something, right? Like this year.
yeah, the
Or
manga ended.
yeah. So I don't know it. Um, if I stop playing Universes, it's probably because I can't. you
Yeah, we go to war with Russia, and you have to enlist.
yeah, I would love to have like some hot take answer, like, oh, they print bad card or something that offends me, but like I've been playing for like 5 years without Templar being available, so like I get it. I'm already not getting to play my favorite card.
Play Rejuve Smash.
It's not the same. It's not Templar. It's so
Yeah.
not Templar that the idea that it is even related to Templar is kind of offensive.
Hey,
That's
I
like
wasn't
saying
around during
struggling.
those days.
That's like saying struggling with studies and Silver's competitor are the same.
Hey, both those are good.
Yeah, so is Reju Smash, but it's no Templar.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They don't fit
Okay.
into the same slot in your deck. If someone's like, man, I keep getting dunked by Godzilla's once per game, you don't say, yeah, just play struggling.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, give me the most important question now. Who are you playing for Saturday's event, and then who do you think will actually win the event?
Well, considering I thought I had another week to work on this, I'm probably gonna cop out and play Godzilla.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bert too, but Godzilla. Do you already have a deck sleeved up or something?
No, it's just I think if the Godzilla I played against in the webcam event just does the once per game, I think he beats me when I played Bert. Obviously I didn't have like Colossus SWAT and stuff like that available, but I've played Bert. It's not fun. It's not interesting, and I do think that Godzilla has a good game plan into it. I don't think there's going to be that many Bert 2s that even really show up. I think people Universes is so weird, man. People would so much rather be the anti-meta guy, and they'd rather do something that they really enjoy. And I really fucking enjoy playing Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken.
All right, so that's your favorite. That's your favorite standard card. That's your favorite standard attack at the moment.
It solves problems. I don't know if it's my favorite card when I look at it and read the text, but it certainly helps me win games, and winning games is fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of games where it's like, okay, if I draw Kraken, I can win this turn.
Yeah,
If I don't draw Kraken, I can't. There's no way.
my snap reaction was to try and play Pony, but I felt like I had a week to get reps in, and Pony does seem a little bit scary if you're not used to the pitching and drawing mechanic, because unlike Bird, you don't get to draw first, you have to discard first. So Pony is like more technical in that respect, and Marvin has like worked on that deck for so long that I think I would be really underestimating the difficulty of playing the deck on no practice. Whereas Godzilla's a deck I've played more of in the past, and I think is much more forgiving with 34 health, and much more forgiving with the access to tools that he has to get rid of problem foundations. But Pony and Godzilla are pretty high up, both together.
All right. Then which character do you think will win the event?
Oh, Bert 2 for sure. That character's broken.
Okay.
No, I don't know, man. I could easily see TC just rolling out the Bert 1 again. I mean, it worked against all the threats that he played through before. I think he ID'd with Marvin's Pony, so we didn't get to see the run back, but it's pretty tough just from known quantities from the last tournament. If I had to pick a character, I would probably say Godzilla, actually.
All right, calling your shot.
Not myself necessarily, but
he does have a good. Yeah, I'd be kind of with you. Like, I've always thought that Rodan was the best character to come out of those challenger decks, but like, I think Godzilla as a meta call has like usurped Rodan. You get to play Kraken, like you said, and you get you get enough damage to like kill recovery girls, and you're just a natural answer to Bert.
On Webcam. When I played Rodan on Webcam, I tied everyone and like could not kill an Endeavor 3. Like, I could not put together the offense on Webcam, you know. So I think the extra time it takes for people to keep asking you which block mod is on top when you play Rodan is gonna prevent you from winning enough games.
That's true. Well, there will be nobody more sad this weekend than the people taking 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Correct.
and missing out on the money. I'm sure everybody can see the slides on your PowerPoint, but 75% of these players walking away with at least $100. And first place really walking away.
Just to put it out there, this is not a PowerPoint. I'm a little better at production than that. I'm not infinitely manually scrolling a PowerPoint here.
Hey, that's what I do.
It is just a slideshow function on OBS, but I'm just saying I know a little bit more about what I'm doing.
All right. Yeah, but 75% of people are walking away with $100. First place, $750. So come check out the action. And then I'm signed up to play in your webcam event, which I haven't even busted out my webcam in 6 months. It's basically like rotting right now next to my desk. So I'm very excited to actually have a webcam event that I can play in.
Yeah, I guess that's a good transition for my event. January 4th, I wanted to do it 1 week later so we'd have like the newest ban list to like have a little breathing room. Because I think the first is a Wednesday. So we're actually going to miss any ban announcement that becomes the Nationals format. But I don't know, David, do you think that there's any chance that they ban something in January when they didn't touch anything from December?
I absolutely do.
Really?
I think that's Bertolt. I think Bertolt's gone in January. Yeah, I think they let him live through Nationals.
Well, no, just because Nationals is in January.
Oh, yeah, never mind. No.
Yeah, I'm saying, so I really
thought we were talking about February. Sorry, I got my months mixed up. I was thinking, I can see Nats and Worlds being different formats. But no, I feel very confident that, other than like some random card, like Monoma getting hit out of like nowhere, no, nothing's happening.
Yeah, so my concern originally was I wanted to have the Nationals format because I wanted to give people one last opportunity to practice for Nationals. One last chance to scout the format. This was, a pretty sweaty event. The first place winner gets $100 and a Critical Role Heroes of Exandria box. You get to be like the first person to win that. I guess they did announce after I came up with that pricing that you'll get to play with that at Worlds. So we'll see how the timeline breaks down on whether or not you're actually the first person to win a booster display. But I think that's a pretty good first place prize. And, second place and all the rest of top 8 will get upgraded to better cash pricing as more people sign up. So if we can fill out that 64 slots, all of top eight's going to get paid out. Second place will get upgraded to $100. I'll be able to pay my judges a fair wage. And, you know, I anything that gets donated, you know, anything that gets added to the pot, obviously will go straight to the players to try and improve that pricing. And really, I just hope that people view it as a great way to practice for Nats and get that last minute testing in, because the very next week is Oceania Nationals. The week after that is UK Nationals. And the week after that is US Nationals. And everyone from all regions can play in my webcam event. So no matter which regional, national you're playing in, this could be a great chance to practice and see if your deck performs for you.
Yeah, and I'm 100% in. I am in. I'm leaning towards Rampage Amajiki right now for Nationals, but that's a whole separate thing. So that'll be my
I can dig it. I'll tell you right now, if there's one deck I could just like ask a genie to make me like a perfect, you know, top tier meta deck and give me all the knowledge on how to play it, it would probably be Shishi Wakamaru. I would love to have like an Ascend to Battle, you know, unexpected outcome Shishi Wakamaru. So, well, I guess you can't play Tendus anymore, but you know what I mean? Like that's like I would love to just like figure that out, because that seems like it'd be such a cool character to play at a high level, but he is so squishy, and having to get momentum from your hand feels really icky.
Yeah, I've tried Shishi decks, and I always spend about 15 minutes and then I just delete the list.
Yeah,
and I move on, and then I repeat 2 months later.
You know who we got to get to work on it? We got to get George Zhang to just figure out how to build like an 80 card Shishi Wakamaru that like doesn't ever attack until turn 19, and then it just plays like 4 8 diffs in a row.
Honestly, when George in our team chat showed his Mothra list, I was like, oh, George is just, you know, having fun making like bad characters somewhat viable. And then I watched him test with my brother, and it was like, oh my gosh, this thing is like throttling him. Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, I'm actually gonna play it for Atlanta. And then he topped 8, and I didn't. So
yeah, I got to get him to work on Shishi Wakamaru. I'll just copy his decks. How do I? Because the question is just, how do I survive without spending my momentum? You know, how do I get to effectively discard a card on your turn and not die for it?
I think you just have to win on turn 2.
Yeah, clearly that's what they want, right? They say they don't want turn 2 kills, but like a turn 3 is just a turn 2, but you played it safe. and turn 4 means Rodan wins, so we can't have that.
Yeah, they've got it so strong on either side. They could anyway. That's a whole nother
turn 4
section.
Also means Bert 2 wins.
But before we jump off, what do you think of the Nationals pricing?
Nationals pricing, it surprised me a bit. I think I like the participation mat. It's clean. I like the simplistic. I don't know if you would call it minimalist, but I dig it. It's obvious what it is. It looks like something that you could frame if you wanted to, you know, like if I had...
There's enough texture to make it not boring.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's very cool for like the playmat design. Like if it was like a card or something really small, I don't think I'd care, right? But like for my playmat, it's cool. Mm-hmm. I get, you know, I don't think that this is like a playmat where you're really supposed to like run it out. You know, this is like a playmat that you're supposed to collect, and it's supposed to remind you of the good times. I think the participation promo is really cool. I think it's saying participation at the top is weird, but I guess it tells you what it is. And then the top.
Oh, the participation isn't the participation one. Isn't that the Worlds?
It says Universes Nationals.
I don't think we get participation promos for Nationals.
Well, it says Universes Nationals 2024 participation pin. I wish I had the regular screen up. I could put it up, but participation pin. You get a pushing the limits participation variant alt art, and you get the
Oh, I
playmat.
see it now. I see it now. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they did that for Worlds too. No, I'm a big not fan of the participation. Like that makes it sound like it's not cool.
you're talking
It
about
should be something that sounds cool, like
yeah, you're talking about
Nationals
the
2024 or something.
you're talking about the word at the top of the card, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's what
Like
I'm talking about.
participation. Like
Yeah, it like there's so many jokes about participation trophies in society already. This is just kind of thrusting it on you. So I thought that was an interesting choice. You could have easily just put Nationals 2024 on there and everyone
yeah.
would still know it's the participation award because it doesn't say top 16 or champion or whatever.
Yeah, it's for the it I'm happy with I'm very happy with the prize wall. I'm happy with the pricing overall. My biggest gripe is that last nationals they hit it out of the park with the promos. There were like 20 different promos. The alt arts were very, very cool. They were cards that like saw heavy play, indiscriminate shock, back alley haymaker, tongue whip.
Yeah.
Um, the downside to last year's nationals is that then they announced that all of these were going to be like legal for 2 months, and then you didn't get to play with your cool promos that you went to nationals for, and then that tanked the market value of the promos and left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. But the promos
I'll,
themselves were very good. These promos, like teaming with the Attack Titans, good. High speed dodge is probably going to be better in the future. Pushing the limits
I
is fine.
I hope high speed dodge gets better in the future, which is rough because I know a lot of people don't like blitz that much. It seems costly as a blitz cancel, but yeah, I feel like high speed dodge was a miss, but pushing the limits is fine.
It's a one diff flip.
Yeah,
It
pushing the
just felt
limits
like
is
man, they played it really safe.
yeah. Pushing the limits I think is the best choice here because it's probably the most openly used with Attack on Titan characters. So I think it's cool that it was the participation choice. Um, and I do think it's cool that it's the top 16 choice. So like the most people will get them because I think that is the best one. Fingers crossed. I
Mhm.
hope we get them for doing commentary too, because I don't know what the promo compensation looks like. It's been like 50-50 for the high level events whether we get promos or not as commentators. So I'm really hoping that we get like at least the top 16 level of pricing, or at least participation stuff. Um but yeah, they've taken care of us pretty good for seasons 2 and 3 as far as commentary goes. Season 1 I think we got one of each promo, so that was you know
Yeah, season
nice,
two. I
but
mean, this last season was good. The Godzilla promos sold pretty fast.
oh, I immediately turned those over to Sean O'Brien for a fat stack. he had I asked Sean if he was buying them, and he asked Jesse Cervini, and Jesse started doing math in his head, and I was like, "This is either really good or really bad," and it ended up being really good for me. So, um, yeah, last two events slam dunk. So I'm really hoping that we get these because I push the limits is like I think it's going to be one of the most played cards until it rotates.
Okay, I can see it. Just a little. It's just a little boring to me, but yeah, I could see. Okay, it's a
Well,
generic
dude,
card,
fearsome
so
transformation is boring, but it would be a insanely good choice for a promo.
yeah, yeah. All right, I can see that. And what I'm a fan of for the Nationals pricing is just first place getting $1,500. These travel vouchers, like keep this on the down low, but it's just a gift card. They tell you to use it for travel.
You realize I'm putting this on the internet, right? We're doing a podcast.
I know. I'm just saying it's
Yeah,
like they tell you to use it for travel, but like you get to decide the event you travel to if you
right.
and
Yeah.
like so
Ugh.
yeah, like
You
that's
know
a
what?
very very enticing pricing to me. Like paying for Worlds was cool last year, but like 1,500, I could go to Orlando and then like I could pay all my travel costs to Orlando for like half that. I think
Right.
if I was like sales shopping.
Imagine you live in Florida and you get the all expenses paid vacation trip to Florida, you know? The voucher is much
Yeah.
cooler. That's low key. I'm salty because they never announce pricing before I have to decide if I'm going to cast or not. And I don't think I was qualified for Nats, so this one doesn't matter. But I'll tell you what, if I knew that Nats had a $1,500 travel voucher at the start of the year, I probably would have sweated it out at least once more than I did this year. I didn't play in a single regional.
Yeah, that's way better than like last year's Nats. I got top 4 at last year's Nats, and it was cool to like get the worlds paid for. I mean, that was a big deal, but I got that at top 16.
Right.
There wasn't like a big difference between top 16 and top 4. And now it's like $1,000 difference. Like that's going to be a pretty sweaty top 8 match, playing for another $500, and then in top 4 play and finalists playing for another $500. There's going to be some pretty sweaty games.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I know that cash prizing is not really an option and stuff like that. So helping players get to events is such a cool prize. You know, being able to enable players, rewarding players who do well at universes by letting them play more universes, I think is a good strategy. Giving them a good experience, making them want to travel to more events and enabling them to do so is a great way to like spread goodwill throughout the community, I feel. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that I think that $1,500 is a lot of money right now. But I think it's a very cool prize. The champion promo being teaming with the Attack Titan, I think is also a really good one. They have like a nice art for it. It's got like it's not really about how usable is it in a bunch of decks and stuff, but it is like an iconic card from the set. It's like an iconic moment at this part of the manga. For this part of the manga, like when they team up with the Attack Titan to retake Wall Maria, I think it is, or wherever the city, the outer wall city is, like that's like the climax. And so from like a storytelling perspective, and they keep wanting us to buy into like we're traveling to these worlds, these different universes and stuff. I think that teaming with the Attack Titan is actually a really good choice, and I don't know if people appreciate like that meta level commentary that's happening.
Well, it's the same with pushing the limits. Like I might think the card choice is a little boring. The art itself, like I can hear the card, like I can hear the atatakai, like he's, the Hanj comes in like, why are you saying kill over and over into the into the mirror, and they have a very one-sided conversation there. But that's a very
card.
memorable.
One-sided.
That's a what?
What?
That's a what?
Oh, one-sided conversation is a champ card.
Oh, one-sided conversation. Nice.
Yeah, that's the name of a retro, or like not retro, but like a very old UK Nationals extended champion.
Huh. Yeah, I was going for that. And then the other thing is the prize wall is like pretty, that's about as good as I could have expected. Like considering the last time they attempted a prize wall that kind of like went terribly, this is not bad. We got some uncut sheets, some like play mats, a unique card, like the retro reprint of Rose Whiplash. This is the only place you can get that Rose Whiplash.
Yeah. I hate
that's
that
cool.
card.
I think it's good enough.
I'm so tired of playing against Rose Whiplash because every MHA player and Kyle Wright who wants to play retro just wants to play the reversal keyword. So they play the reversal that picks up a reversal.
Yeah, I played again in my few retro games I have played. I've seen a fair amount of Rose Whiplash.
It's all over the place. I do think I do think the one big miss is only 3 symbols, and it's not even like the 6 current symbols from Attack on Titan. I think is the only real negative I have for the prize wall.
Oh, what symbols did they choose for the playmat?
Air, chaos, and death. Those are the only simple
Oh, those are all
playmats that they
AOT.
showed.
Oh, you're saying that they didn't have the other 3 AOT ones?
Yeah, I'm saying that they should have had all 12, but we don't live in a perfect world, right?
Yeah, they know that chaos and death are the symbols they give the best support to at all times anyway.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so they did pick the right ones for this format. I will say if you were going to pick 3 of them, you could maybe swap life with air, but death and chaos are like the 2 you would pick, but I would really like to see all 12 represented.
Yeah, they chose one of each counterpart. Like, okay, chaos and order go together. We pick chaos, death and life. We'll pick death, air and fire. Pick air.
Yeah. So
yeah, it doesn't seem like a big expense on their end to go ahead and do all 6. So it is kind of weird that we only
Symbol
have
pins.
3. And
sorry, go ahead. So they have the other 3 symbols as symbol pins, though. They have fire, life, and order.
but there's a lot of players.
Oh, I think you're cutting out. Whoops.
Oh, sorry about that. No, I was talking about the dice sets, the speed and damage dice sets that I've seen a lot of players be interested in getting those that started past the League of Villains like box that gave it to people. But anyway, those dice are not my thing.
Oh, the speed and damage dice from the class reunion.
Yeah, class reunion box. But it's cool to give them out to other people who like have just joined the game the last year.
Yeah, I'm torn on them because I feel like something needs to change, but I couldn't offer like constructive criticism, So I kind of just have no opinion on them, but they're not exactly easy to read, but neither are the card zones. So it kind of is what it is. I do think having officially branded speed and damage dice is incredibly smart, though. So I do think that they should keep making them, but I think the end game of that is maybe like a partnership with a dice making company, and you start making dice that are specifically tailored to different IPs. So we get Attack on Titan style dice, we get Critical Role style dice, we get Star Trek style dice, and you see it already with like the card backs and the card layouts. Like the graphic design team does something new with like every set. Every set has different, every property has its own identity with how they do the borders and the font. Excuse me.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of it.
Excuse me. Yeah, no,
because it makes it feel different. Like Critical Role feels like D&D because of that.
Yes. Yeah, I think that I think that if you could do that with dice, like the way that the Star Trek font is like italicized and sleek, and I guess that makes it futuristic, and then the Tekken font is arcadey and rigid and but also sleek because Tekken's whole thing is that it's 3D visuals and sleekness, and then you've got like the crumbling decay rustic nature of Attack on Titan. Put that into the dice, and then I don't know if you've ever played too many like war games or like miniatures games. People who play dice rolling games eat that shit up.
Yeah, I would be into that, and make the dice metal.
Yeah,
and now
make
I'm
them $50.
Super
Good
in. Yeah. Hey, man. Something that if the speed and damage dice sets are like upgraded versions of the ones that they put in class reunion, I might go grab them. But I need them to be metal and to have some weight. Well, I gotta jump on my end and go interview my brother.
Oh, true.
He just texted me saying,
I think we covered pretty much everything that's happening right now. We'll obviously have an episode before Nationals, I'm sure. I would love to do one before Christmas as well, but the holidays are coming up and scheduling things can get pretty tough. I know you got a family, David, that you love to spend time with. So we'll keep you guys updated on future episodes, but do expect some more content cranking out on Orange Card, Blue Card. You got anything else you want to shout out before we take it away, David?
No, just come watch Saturday's event. I'm honestly like I'm more excited for this webcam event than any of the 3 circuit events. Something about this like top 16, best of the best, duke it out, big money. I'm so stoked. It's like I don't know. I guess I feel like the viewer and y'all are the gladiators and fun. Yeah.
You know, I will say when I do commentary, it's very nice to be involved and have zero pressure of competing.
Yeah. Like I love watching a bad beat. It's fun. It's not fun to live through, but
as long
the
as
viewer
it's not
experience is
happening
great.
to me.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We'll see if we can get Bert 2 banned, but I doubt it because people like you are playing Godzilla.
We might run it out with Pony, but I don't imagine. I'm being very honest when I don't imagine I'm going to come up with anything that I'm super confident in before now and basically tomorrow, because I still got to borrow cards from my locals because I'm a bum who doesn't have a playset of anything really. Unless it's a playset in it. They don't even do playsets in the Challenger decks, do they? I don't think I own a playset of a single card now, David.
No, I basically my local who got in Aaron Cook. I basically gave him half of a deck today to borrow for his Devil Jin list.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Yeah, I borrow like entire decks for my locals because by the time I'm borrowing 31 cards, like I don't want to pick through everything. I can just hand you back the whole thing, right? Like it's easier.
Yeah.
To just get everything back. All right. That's going to do it for this episode, guys. Go check out the webcam event this weekend that I'm playing in and David is hosting. And then definitely go check out the webcam event in a month that David's in and I'm hosting. And hopefully I didn't get that backwards. We'll see you all next time. Peace out, everybody. Happy holidays.
See ya.